distinguished special guests, former mayors, staff, citizens, and council-elect. Welcome to the 19th inaugural ceremony for the town of Huntsville. In accordance with Section 230 of the Municipal Act, I call this inaugural meeting of the 2022-2026 term of council of the Corporation of the Town of Huntsville to order. I would like to respectfully acknowledge that we are in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe under the terms of the Robinson-Huron Treaty number 61 of 1850 and the Williams Treaties of 1923. We commit to acknowledge, learn, educate, create opportunity, honor sacred places, and take actions towards truth and reconciliation in support of our commitment to walking the path together in respect, peace, and harmony for future generations. I would now like to invite Paige Mounier to lead us in the national anthem. Please rise as you are able. Thank you. Please be seated. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce you to Council-elect. I ask that each member to briefly stand when your name is called. Mayor-elect Nancy Alcock. Representing Town and District Council, Councillor-elect Dan Armour. Representing Chaffee Ward, Councillor-elect Corey Clark. Representing Bernal Ward, Councillor-elect Monty Cloutier. Representing Stisted Stevenson and Port Sydney Wards, Councillor-elect Jason Fitzgerald. Representing Town and District Council, Councillor-elect Scott Morrison. Representing Huntsville Ward, Councillor-elect Helena Renwick. Representing Stisted Stevenson and Port Sydney Wards, Councillor-elect Dion Schumacher. And representing Town and District Council, Councillor-elect Bob Stone. I now ask Crystal Peroshi, Deputy Clerk, to assist me and call upon Councillor-elect Alcock to join me at the front podium as I administer the Declaration of Oath of Office. Council-elect Nancy Alcock, please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will truthfully, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make this solemn promise and declare consciously, believing it to be true, and knowing that is its same force and effect as made under oath?
I do.
Beautiful. You're going to sign.
Counselor-elect Dan Armour.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will truthfully, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true, and knowing that it is of the same force and effect if made under oath?
I do.
I now call upon Counselor-elect Corey Clark.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true, and knowing that it is of the same force and effect as if made under oath?
I do.
I now call upon Counselor-elect Monty Fluce.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability? And do you solemnly promise and declare that you have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make this solemn promise and declare conscientiously, believing it to be true, and knowing that it is the same force and effect as if made under oath?
I do.
I now call upon Counselor-elect Jason Fitzgerald.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true, and knowing knowing that is of the same force and effect as if made under oath?
I do.
I now call upon Counselor-elect Scott Morrison.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you have not received and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that is the same force and effect as if made under oath?
I do.
I now call upon Counselor-elect Helena Renwick.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you have and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in any biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that is the same of force and effect as if made under oath?
I do.
I now call upon Counselor-elect Dion Schumacher.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
And do you solemnly promise and declare that you have and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make the solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that is the same force and effect as if made under oath?
I do.
I now call upon Counselor-elect Bob Stone.
Save the best for last.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will truly, faithfully, and impartially exercise this office to the best of your knowledge and ability?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you have and will not receive any payment or reward or promise thereof for the exercise of this office in a biased, corrupt, or in any other improper manner?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will disclose any pecuniary interest, direct or indirect, in accordance with the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act?
I do.
Do you solemnly promise and declare that you will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles III?
I do.
And do you make this solemn promise and declaration conscientiously, believing it to be true and knowing that is the same force and effect as if made under oath?
I do.
And finally, I welcome Mayor Nancy Alcock to join the clerk at the front of the stage for the presentation of the chain of office.
accordance with the provisions of the Municipal Act and with the mayor and councilors having taken the declaration of office, I am pleased to confirm that the new council of the Corporation of the Town of Huntsville is officially organized. It is now my pleasure to introduce special guest Chief Ted Williams. So Chief Williams is Ojibwe from the Chippewas of the Rama First Nation, a husband and father of two. From humble beginnings, Mr. Williams' aspirations to make a difference led him to become a council member at the age of 25. And 2 years later, he became the youngest elected chief of the Chippewas of Rama First Nation. He has held a successful career in real estate and chaired the successful development of Casino Rama. Upon opening, he climbed the corporate ladder to become the Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Human Resources at Casino Rama. Chief Williams has been an entrepreneur for over 13 years as a consultant, guest speaker, and retail business partner. He is also a skilled chainsaw artist whose popular wooden bears can be found across the region. More recently, Chief Williams made his return back into politics as councillor for Rama First Nation, during which he sat on various committees, including the Ontario Parole Board. Now the Chief of Rama First Nation, Chief Williams brings his wealth of experience in many areas to his role serving the community. Chief Williams and Rama Reserve is playing a major role in the development of Misko Aki, an exciting new cultural exhibit being created for the opening in Gravenhurst in 2023. Chief Williams, will you join me on the stage?
Honorable Bonjour. Gima Ted Williams, Indigenous Cost Rama Menjikaning Donjaba. There was a shortcut right there. I missed it. But I am an Indian guy, okay. First of all, let me just say that my formal introduction is Anin Bonjour. Gima Ted Williams, Indigenous Cost Rama Menjikaning Donjaba, Gigo Dorem. I'm Ted Williams. I'm the chief of the Chippewas of Rama, and my clan is the Fish Clan. First of all, I want to acknowledge the mayor and members of council, and I'd like to acknowledge the mayor for the invitation today. It's and a little history needs to go on there. There's a lot of history actually needs to go on, but anyway, I first ran into your mayor, Nancy Alcock, back in '99, 2000, when I was working at the casino, and we frequently had meetings with the Ontario Lottery and Gaming Corporation, of which she was employed at that time, and that's where I ran into her. We would have meetings. I think they were good meetings. Yeah. And I found Nancy to be very personable, very open, and got along great with Nancy. I left the casino in 2001, did my carving thing and a bunch of other stuff, and it's only recently, in the last 3 years, that I became aware that Nancy was up here in Muskoka, in Huntsville, in fact. And so we reacquainted at that time. I do want to talk about, it's called the Muskoka Area Indigenous Leadership Table. And before I talk a little bit about that, I just want to acknowledge former mayors Scott Etchison, Karen Terziano. Where's Karen? There she is. Yeah. And for your friendship, the role that you have played in the Muskoka Area Indigenous Leadership Table. It's only recently that I found out that she's a golfer, because I'm a big golfer myself. And I'd like to acknowledge mayors from Gravenhurst, Heidi Lorenz, is that right? Yeah. And Mayor from Bracebridge, Rick Maloney. And they will be sitting with us at the Muskoka Area Indigenous Leadership Table. The Muskoka Area Indigenous Leadership Table is a group of leaders in Muskoka, First Nation individuals, chiefs, some key bureaucrats, both from the Indigenous community, First Nation community, and the Muskoka municipalities. We've been meeting since June of 2019, and the whole purpose was to get to know each other and work on things of mutual concern. One of the first things that we were beginning to work on was the land acknowledgement. And I'll be honest with you, that was a good first few meetings, because it's not up to me, it's not up to First Nations to acknowledge land. We already have it. We already had it. We're already there. It's an educational process that the municipalities had to go through, and I can recall, I'm looking at Denise, I know she's with Huntsville, she may have been in the meeting. I can recall, I'm a somewhat imposing figure, and we walk into the meeting, and I can tell just by the look on people's eyes, oh, we don't want to upset this gentleman. And that didn't happen, and it wasn't going to happen. But it was through the open dialogue and discussion, and there were some very difficult discussions that took place during that time. But we made it through. And with Huntsville and the other municipalities, we developed a strong relationship with the Indigenous community, the First Nation communities, and the area municipalities. A relationship that I coined, that you would be hard-pressed to find this kind of relationship of mutual, satisfaction between the First Nation communities and municipalities. I defy you to go anywhere across this country to find the kind of relationship that we've developed over the course of the last 3.5 years. I call my colleagues friends. I've called them up on the phone, and we may not have talked business, we may have talked golf, we may have talked tourism, but this relationship is something that I hold very, very dear to me. And we were able to laugh quite a bit, actually. And that's the one thing about any relationship. When you're able to laugh together, and there's a new relationship starting here, when you're able to laugh together, you know you're in good company. It's when that laughter leaves that things become challenging. So keep up the laughter, which reminds me of a story I wanted to tell. I was thinking about it on the way up, but 8 years ago, I was at the inauguration of the Mayor Steve Clark of Aurelia. And very similar to the clerks here, wanting to know, how do we address you, Mr. Williams? And I said, Chief Williams is good. Young lady in Aurelia, and I went to the inauguration. She met me at the door, and she says to me, Mr. Williams, I was on council at the time, how should I address you? And I said, well, Mayor Clark has that whole worship thing wrapped up. And I looked at her and I said, I'm kind of partial to Your Excellency, actually. I had to let her know that I was just joking. Councillor Williams from Chippewa-Ram is just fine. But anyway, I did grow up, or spend my summers, just down the road on Highway 60 when I was, I guess from 4 until 10, just before you get into Algonquin Park. My uncle was a carver with chisels and mallet. So I grew up and I spent the summers here, just on Highway 60. And I was saying earlier, I could live here. Actually, I did for a few summers. But we have a long history. We have a long history working together, getting along. I'm a closet historian. I come across some newspaper articles from down in the States, and the one article was 1878 or something like that, and it talks about guides from Rama, and I think there was with a fellow by the name of Dwight. Last name is Dwight, and they were going into what was then wasn't Algonquin Park then, but it was that territory. There was 2 guides from Rama, and we know Muskoka. We know Muskoka is named after our chief, Chief Yellowhead, Meskwaki. And with that, I'm very, very proud. And so we've had this long-standing relationship with Muskoka and area. And it's fitting because I've had this friendship with Nancy for 20 some odd years. And I appreciate you calling me, inviting me, and I solemnly promise and declare I will forever be a friend of the town of Huntsville. Miigwech, 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 miigwech. Taking the shortcut.
Thank you, Chief Williams. We would now like to show a brief video address from our MP, Scott Aitchison, who is able to join us today. Council, if you'd like to just turn slightly, you'll be able to view it.
Hi, Huntsville. Scott here. Just wanted to say on this auspicious occasion, the swearing in of a new council, the inaugural council meeting, I just want to say hi and congratulations. I wish I could be there with you all in the beautiful Algonquin Theatre. Of course, I'm stuck up here in Ottawa, but this is a special day. It's a special day for Huntsville. It's a special day for every one of you. You've done an amazing thing. You've gone out and crisscrossed the community and asked your neighbors and your friends for their support. You've asked for their thoughts, their ideas. You've shared your vision with them, and they've selected you. They selected you to be their voice, their representative, and their champion, to make their lives better, to improve our community, and to make everything better. And so you're going to have a lot of great days in this gig. I can tell you, having spent a lot of time around the table you're about to inherit, it's an amazing job, and you're going to have some great days. You're going to have some tough days too. It's not always easy, but the overall experience, I guarantee you, will be one of great joy and a huge honor. It's an amazing thing to represent your community. It's an amazing thing to champion ideas that will move the community forward and improve the lives of your fellow citizens. So thank you for what you're doing. I congratulate you all on your victories, and I want to say too that I'm still here. I might be in Ottawa, but we're going to get to work together. I'm looking forward to working with every single one of you to keep working to make Huntsville better and to improve the lives of all its citizens. So congratulations. Have a wonderful day.
like to call upon Mayor Alcock to deliver her inaugural address.
I don't need this. This is setting up your email account. I just gonna put that down there. Ani, bonjour, hello, and welcome. I first want to start by thanking Chief Ted Williams for being with us today. Your comments surpassed anything I would ever have imagined, and more importantly, your words were so inspirational, and I'm sure we all took note of the kind of direction that where you'd like to go and where we'd like to go as well. I know that our previous mayor, Karen Terziano, had a truly heartfelt relationship with you, and it's my hope that we will continue this friendship. And what I heard today is we've started, so that's fantastic. Thank you. Speaking of Mayor Terziano, I wanted to thank you for all you have done to leave this town in excellent shape. It is my hope that I will live up to the standard of excellence that you have set. And to those councillors who will not be rejoining us for the next term, I also extend a wholehearted thank you for all of the work that you have contributed to this town as well. I also want to thank other mayors, former mayors, Claude Dowdy, Len Clark, I believe is here, I mentioned Karen, and current mayors Rick Maloney and Heidi Lorenz. Thank you for being here. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. And congratulations to all of my council colleagues. I am so excited and honored to be sharing a table with you. And to those candidates who participated in this last election, I congratulate all of you as well. It was an incredible and challenging campaign which made everyone who participated in it better for it. Finally, I'd like to thank everyone here today for sharing in this time-honored tradition of the swearing in of your new council. We will all be certain of holding this trust with great pride and care. I look forward to building on the past achievements of the previous council. We know we must continue to maintain our roads and manage our resources and ensure our infrastructure is capable of handling new development, and this all goes without saying. In this election, however, it was also clear that our community asked us to listen and to act on issues with respect to inclusion, accessibility, equality, and frankly, the basic essentials of life. It is imperative that we reflect the voices of our whole community and put their needs into action. This election was different from any I had experienced. We found a more engaged community than ever before. When I started campaigning, I wondered if people would be hesitant about receiving strangers at their door, given the devastating experience with the pandemic. However, what transpired during the campaign was truly remarkable. I found people wanted to engage, share their stories, and let us know about their concerns for parents, grandparents, kids, friends, and indeed the whole community, asking us how we were going to tackle the issues that we collectively know are urgent. Every day I was inspired by these stories. And frankly, I think all of the people that went door to door with me as well. We, your council, are your collective voice, empowered to make decisions that reflect your interests and aspirations, while making our community the symbol of enlightenment where no one is left behind and people have the opportunity to achieve. Since Election Day, I have met every member of our new council to understand how their priorities would align with mine. These interactions were absolutely invaluable and indeed help to shape what we can expect from our strategic direction for the next 4 years. What I know is we all listened to you, and this is what we heard. We need to collaborate in our approach to addressing the issues raised by all of our residents. We need to be inclusive in our decision-making. We need to improve our active transportation and public transit networks here in Huntsville and between our sister communities. We heard we need to finally get it right when it comes to providing the much-needed new and alternative housing that we know is essential if our community is to remain vibrant, healthy, and sustainable. We heard our citizens are concerned about the climate crisis and want us to collaborate with all municipalities in Muskoka to keep our promises with respect to climate adaptation. We heard that you want us to maintain and enhance our community recreational infrastructure to keep up with the demands of an ever-growing population, especially our growing seniors community. We heard you want us to do everything we can to work with our youth, especially those whose needs are great and opportunities are few. We heard about the shortages of doctors, nurses, and other health practitioners, and this council will continue to work diligently with MOC and all representatives of our healthcare sector to address these shortages any way we can. We heard that you love Huntsville deeply and are worried that development pressures may put too much strain on our natural resources. And while most of you are not suggesting we stop this unparalleled growth, you want to know it will be done in a balanced way, knowing our precious resources, our lakes, forests, and wetlands will be preserved. And finally, you want your council to communicate so you are aware of the progress we are making. Over the next month, our council committee structure will be struck and opportunities for input will be established. It's all about engagement. We will start by creating several new committees focused on the delivery of our priorities, and we will call upon community members to be part of this process. I would be remiss if I didn't say how fortunate we are to be supported by incredible staff who are ready to work with us to achieve our community's vision. We are one team, all with a collective responsibility to serve you. We will continue to strengthen our relationships with our amazing volunteer groups, service clubs, not-for-profit organizations, business community, and faith-based organizations, always ready and willing to be included in making our community a better place to live. To our municipal partners, we are ready to tackle those issues that we must face together, such as the future of our environment, healthcare, and local economic development. Finally, I would like to center out my own family and my dear friends for keeping me humble and for your unwavering support throughout these past years, most recently through this incredible journey of becoming Huntsville's next mayor. I know that I wouldn't be standing on this stage today without your endless love and all of your encouragement. I am truly blessed. We have a ton of work to do, and I think it's time we get started. Thank you.
The started starts right now, as you need to read these motions.
Okay. Thank you. It's a good thing I went to Heidi's swearing in the other night. She, watch her. So, after we adjourn, I would like to invite council and everyone downstairs to Partners Hall for some refreshments. I would also like to request staff to remain in the theater for just a few additional moments with me, and then we can all go down together. So with that, I have okay. I have a motion moved by Councillor Armour and seconded by Councillor Stone Be it resolved that confirmation bylaw 2022-134 be received, numbered, and read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 21st day of November 2022. All those in favor? And that carries. I have two things. Okay. I'm going to say it's okay. Good. I have a motion moved by Councillor Renwick and seconded by Councillor Morrison. Be it resolved that we do now adjourn at 11:42 a.m. All those in favor? How about that, eh? And we're done. Thank you.